Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS NBA Monday. We got two games on the board, Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Dallas. As far as Sunday, it was an okay day. I went 1-1 against the spread in the NBA. I had Pacers minus 5.5. Unfortunately, that hit easily. That was a blowout. And then I had Minnesota minus 3 or whatever in the second game. That lost. And I split on the totals as well. I had the under in the first. I took both unders, and they went 1-1. MLB for Sunday. I actually think the picks I posted on the website went 1-3, but the extra bets I posted in the Discord went 3-0. So hopefully you got those. Made a few dollars. So overall, a break-even Sunday for me. Let's move on to Monday. 2 NBA games. Oh, by the way, live show. We're going to do 3:45 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I'll go through NHL, NBA, MLB. That'll be at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. All right, 2 NBA games. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
First up, we got Boston on the road in Cleveland. Cavs are catching 8.5 points at home. Total sitting at 206. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we should see a 3-point Celtics win. Final score 107-104 Boston. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with the Celtics. Just Porzingis still. Porzingis still going to miss another week at least. He's already been ruled out for this game. On the Cleveland side, we got Donovan Mitchell on the report. Donovan Mitchell's listed as questionable. And again, Jared Allen's, who I believe doesn't even have a timetable for his return. But he is listed as questionable for this game, so he hasn't been ruled out. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm beginning to think Jared Allen will not be returning for this series. All right, so let's take a look at Game 4. And as I mentioned in the last video, the first 2 games were flip-flopped. Boston blew out Cleveland in Game 1. Cleveland blew out Boston in Game 2. In Game 3, Boston won and covered. Final score was 106-93. I had Cleveland plus 8, which obviously lost. I did like the under in that game as well, which obviously won. And if you remember that Game 3 video, I pulled up this graphic here, and I talked about how well the Cleveland defense had played at home. Well, the entire season, but specifically, I was talking about how they played at home against Orlando, held them to such a low field goal percentage inside of 10 feet. And I talked about how Cleveland put a lot of pressure on the perimeter to try to take the 3-point shot away from Boston, and it worked. And I thought they might try to do that again. And how did it work out? I mean, Boston attempted 34 threes, hit 13 of them. I guess you can look at their averages in the playoffs. They're averaging 39.8 3-point attempts. Regular season, 42.5 3-point attempts. So I guess they held them to a few less 3-point shots, and I think that's 38.9%. So it's not like the Celtics shot the lights out. I guess that's somewhat successful that they held Boston to 6 or 7 less attempts. Not really. And then you take a look at this graphic right here. Wide open 3-point attempts from the Boston Celtics. They were just 3 of 14. Now, these numbers come from NBA Advanced Stats, and a wide open 3-point attempt is defined by 6 feet or more of space. So the Boston Celtics had 14 3-point attempts where they had 6 feet or more of space, and they only hit 3 of them, meaning Boston won and covered. They won the game by 13, but they probably should have won it by about 22 because normally they hit these at about a 43-44% rate. Now, if you're looking to bet the Cavs in this game, obviously you're searching for some regression on the Boston side. I guess you can point here. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, those 2 guys combined to go 24 of 42 from the floor, 61 points combined, 22 rebounds. They both played really well. So you could say, hey, these numbers are bound to come down. And I guess you could also point at the rebounding battle. The Cavs absolutely dominated the battle on the glass in Game 2, 44-31. In Game 3, Boston got them back. And if you look at rebounding numbers on the season, now I actually messed these numbers up in my Game 3. Well, I didn't mess them up. I read off the NBA.com advanced stats numbers. I like to use cleaning the glass for these types of numbers because they weed out garbage time, which when you're talking about the Boston Celtics in particular, they've had a lot of garbage time. They weed out the last 5 minutes of games that are 20 points or more, stuff like that. I feel like it gives you more accurate numbers. So what I had said was the Boston Celtics were a better rebounding team than Cleveland this year. But actually, if you remove garbage time, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, it's 22nd to 11th in offensive rebounding rate, 7th to 11th defensively. So yeah, Boston's a slightly better rebounding team, but As a whole, in Cleveland, I could see this rebound battle being close, and they lost 44-35, so maybe a little bit of regression there for Cleveland. But still, for me, after watching Game 3 and looking at these numbers here, how much better can we expect the Cleveland Cavs to really play? I mean, Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley both played well. 19 of 33 combined from the floor, 50 points, 14 rebounds. I mean, that's solid for them. It's not like the Cavs are turning the ball over. In this series, they're averaging just 8.3 turnovers per game. They only turned the ball over 8 times in Game 3. So it's not like we can point there and be like, hey, the Cavs can do a better job there. They're not turning the ball over. Now, you might point at the shooting numbers for Cleveland in Game 3 and say, Kyle, the Cavs only shot 42.9% from the floor in Game 3. There's some regression. They're bound to shoot better than that. I mean, I guess a little bit, but in the playoffs, the Cavs are just shooting 44.7% from the floor. That's kind of what they've been this year. They've been a struggling offense that can't efficiently score. So, I mean, I guess a little bit there, but I don't know. 42.9% by Cleveland Cavs standards in these postseason seems pretty on par. So I personally think the move here would be to lay the points with Boston. There's a trend here since 2017 that supports the Celtics bet as well. Since 2017, number 1 seeds that are up 2-1 in the series in Game 4 after covering as road favorites in Game 3, 8-2 straight up and 7-3 against the spread since 2017. So it's a pretty high hit rate. It's only 10-game sample size, but a pretty high hit rate there for the 1 seed. And I mean, I think it's enough for me. I mean, the numbers, the eye test, I think I'm down to bet Boston here. If I'm being honest, I really haven't had a ton of interest in this series from the beginning. I mean, I was betting those same game parlays in games 1 or 2. That's how little interest I had in it. I was putting those stupid bets down. So, I mean, I guess I'll lay the points with Boston here. Really not crazy about this game. Probably go back to the under. You know what I'd do? I'd probably go Cleveland team total under based on what we've seen so far. So I guess Boston minus the points. I'll probably end up betting that, and Cleveland team total under next game. Oklahoma City on the road in Dallas. We got the Mavs laying 1 point at home. The total sitting at 213.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see a 3-point Oklahoma City win. Final score 107-104 Thunder. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Oklahoma City, and we got nothing. Nobody on the injury report for OKC, so they'll be at full strength. On the Dallas side, we got Luka Doncic on the report. He's listed as questionable, but he's been listed as questionable the last couple of games. So I think we can all assume Luka Doncic plays in this game. All right, so let's take a look at Game 4 here. As I'm sure you already know, Oklahoma City took Game 1 convincingly. Since then, we've seen 2 straight Mavs wins, 119-110 is Game 2, 105-101 in the game we just saw. Now, in the Game 3 video where I took Dallas minus 2.5, I pulled up this graphic right here, and I said, look at the rebounding and turnover numbers from Game 2. In Game 1, Oklahoma City dominated Dallas on the glass and won the turnover battle convincingly. But then in Game 2, they were pretty much even, and I said, that's where it's going to be. I mean, Dallas is a slightly better rebounding team. Dallas is not a team that coughs the ball up. They don't turn the ball over. So the numbers from Game 2 here, this is what I thought we would see in this series moving forward, and that's kind of what we saw in Game 3. Dallas won the rebounding battle 48-41. Turnovers were even. So, yeah, this is about where these numbers should be based on what we've seen and the numbers we have for these teams on the year. And then if you remember in that Game 3 video right after that, I pulled up this graphic here, and I was talking about Luka Doncic, how he just had his first efficient shooting night of the postseason. That was in Game 2. Oh, no. Yeah, that was in Game 2. So the question was, would Luka Doncic continue to shoot the ball efficiently in Game 3? And the answer is no. Just 7 of 17 from the floor, 1 of 4 from 3, just 22 points, which by Luka Doncic standards is super low. He did grab 15 boards, though, so we'll give him some credit for that. But Luka Doncic shooting woes returned. I mean, this guy is clearly not 100%, and I don't think it'd be responsible to handicap Luka Doncic as a 40% three-point shooter and a 32-point-a-night guy right now, because that's not how he's playing, and that's not who he is right now. He's not healthy. So I expect him to continue to struggle to score. But the thing is, speaking of struggling shooters, look at Oklahoma City's outside shooting numbers in Game 2 and 3. 33.3%, then 33.3% again. Shot over 45% in Game 1. Keep in mind, this is an Oklahoma City offense that led the NBA in three-point percentage. They shot 38.9% from 3 as a team this year, first in the NBA. In Games 2 and 3, 33.3%. So those numbers are going to come up. Oklahoma City is definitely going to start hitting some outside shots here. Some numbers that I'm worried might not come up for Oklahoma City, though, are the fast break points. Against the Pelicans, they averaged 17.8 fast break points per game. Oklahoma City, as we know, one of the leaders in the league this year in fast break points per game. Not against Dallas. Dallas just held them to 10 in game 3. Just 11.7 fast break points per game for Oklahoma City. And that comes from the fact that Dallas isn't turning the ball over. They haven't in the last couple games. And I had said that when I bet Dallas minus 2.5. A team that doesn't turn the ball over could potentially be a problem for Oklahoma City because such a huge part of what they do is based on creating turnovers and getting out in transition. So Dallas protecting the basketball is a problem here. But the question is that going to be enough? Because we just saw Dallas play a pretty good game. They played a great game defensively. Outside shooting wasn't really there for them, but they did a great job in the rebounding department. Mavs played pretty well in game 3, and that still came down to the wire. So Oklahoma City, a team that I expect to shoot the outside shot much better moving forward, I think OKC's got to be the move here. So I'm going to take them on the money line. I'm on the Thunder in this one. And before I make that the definitive pick, let's take a look at a couple trends here. So this is since 2003. Road dogs in game 4 after losing game 3 as road dogs. Just 17-24 straight up, 19-21-1 against the spread. That's not really nothing there. Pretty much 500. I guess that's a slight lean towards Dallas, but not enough to actually make it an angle. But right here, this one leans towards Oklahoma City. Number 1 seeds in game 4, down 2-1 in the series. 8-4 straight up and 8-3-1 against the spread since 2012. So this one does suit Oklahoma City. When 1 seeds go down 2-1 in the series, they normally win game 4. So that does favor Oklahoma City. And I'm going to do it. I'm on OKC here. I'm going to play the money line. I think odds makers brought this number down for a reason. It's down at 1 on most sports books. So give me OKC on the money line. As far as the total, I've been playing unders in this series, and it's 2-1 to the under so far. So I lean towards the under, but I think Oklahoma City is going to have a nice offensive game in this one. So I'd go Dallas team total under, which, quick math, that would probably be at 107.5. So give me Oklahoma City money line, and if I place a second bet, it'll be Dallas team total under. Like I said earlier, live show 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. We'll go through NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, and MLB. I'll bring on guests, same thing we always do. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets or top bets from anyone on the staff here, or you're looking to take a look at our spreadsheets, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage, along with a link to join the Discord if you're interested. Let's have ourselves a nice Monday here. See you on the live show. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.